Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madden 2002. We are at the end, the eventual and inevitable end that we all knew it would come to. So, after another disaster year, heading into this final week on the road against the Panthers, and there it is officially, the notification that we've officially lost our jobs by the game here. So I knew it was going to happen. That's why I kind of ended things after the Bills game in the last video, because I knew that this notification would be coming at the end of the season. So I'm learning a little bit more about how that works in this game at the coaching point. So we also got the Panthers coach fired by beating them, sending them to a 4-12 season. The Bengals finally fired our original coach. The Bills, even that blowout against us, could not save their coach's job. He also got fired. And then the Steelers part ways with Bill Cowher. So the Steelers must have had a pretty bad season as well. So, but here is going to be our new coach. His name is Jim Punker. He's going to be our new coach. We're going to bring him in. I haven't thought of a backstory for him about college or anything like that, but he's not going to be an interim. He's not going to be like the coordinator that we promoted. That could be fun, but I don't know. I don't think I want to go that route. But there's a few vacancies open, of course, but we are going to return to the Cowboys, or rather, start our job with the Cowboys. And I guess GM, I'm going to be fired as GM, and then it's just going to be me with a bigger mustache, and that's going to be the new GM. So, taking a look in the NFC, the Eagles take the top seed, and of course win our division. The Packers win the North, Rams win the West, and the Bucks win the South. And the 49ers and Falcons are your wild card team. So the Falcons finally make a wild card after beating us to start the year, or during the year. The Lions just miss out here, and then the Giants and Saints come in at 500. I think it's the best season for the Giants in this whole sim that we've seen here. The Seahawks, Redskins, and Vikings all finish around 7 and 9, and then the bottom, the caboose here is with us. And then the Chiefs take the top seed in the AFC. They win the West. The Ravens win the North. The Patriots win the East, and then the Jags win the South, with the Colts and Jets serving as your two wild cards. The Titans just barely missing out here, along with the Dolphins at 9 and 7. The Browns and Broncos at 500, and then the Raiders are the only 7-win team, and then it's the caboose after that. So the Bills, Steelers, Bengals, and Chargers all finish 5 and 11 at the bottom of the AFC. So once again, there's quite a bit of teams that are 5 and 11 or worse. So we're probably going to sit closer to the 10th pick than we are the first. And in the NFL standings, we're placed 8th, but I think we end up picking 9th in the draft because of tie-breaking scenarios, this, that, and the other, I believe. So in the wild card round, the Patriots beat the Jets, the Rams beat the Falcons, the Jags hold off the Colts, and the Buccaneers beat the 49ers. In the divisional round, the Chiefs beat the Jaguars, the Eagles destroy the Buccaneers, the Ravens smother the Patriots, and the Packers just barely inch out the Rams in Lambeau. In the championship game, the Ravens just barely beat the Chiefs, and the Eagles beat the Packers. And so in your Super Bowl, the Eagles are repeat champions. They've won back-to-back Super Bowls and have beaten the Ravens. Just an amazing, amazing effort. So 35 points in the AFC Championship game to 3 points in the Super Bowl is crazy if you're the Ravens. So Chuck Dunn has a pretty mirrored season the last year. It actually improved a little bit. His rating's a little bit higher. He threw for 500 less yards here. Touchdown INT ratio is about the same. The completion percentage is also about the same. Charlie Gardner is one season as a Cowboy, 971 yards and 6 touchdowns. Touchdown number was a lot lower than I'd like it to be, but 971 yards is pretty good. Roland Rich only about 250 yards with 7 touchdowns, so he was a touchdown goblin for us. Desmond Clark leads the team in receptions. He does also get 834 yards. He's been pretty effective in our receiving core. Kenny Thompson leads a receiving class in yardage with over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Ragib Ishmael in the one spot, only 655 yards with 5 touchdowns, about the same season he had a year ago with minus 200 yards. So Charlie Gardner is the 4th leading receiver on the team. So a tight end and running back are 2 of our 4 leading receivers. That's just not great. Mo Collins really has himself a good year, another great year. Fernando Williams, the rookie right tackle that we started, he's a 70 overall. I think he had a pretty amazing season, man. 35 pancakes to 3 sacks. I mean, allowing the second fewest amount of sacks among our offensive line starters is pretty amazing. So Larry Allen claims is sending him to another Pro Bowl. I don't know why at this point. Flozell Adams, man, from the holds that we saw at the beginning of the season to a 31 pancake and 1 sack season, man. Amazing year for Flozell Adams. So great. And then Jamie Evans continues to have a decent enough year. Datton Wynn in a contract year leads the team in tackles. It's by far his most productive season at middle linebacker for this team here. with 90 tackles. And TFL's Marcus Johnson, our defensive tackle that we drafted some years ago, he leads the team in tackles for loss, also leads the team in sacks, so he's been one of the other few rookies that we've drafted that have actually developed quite nicely for this team. Lennox Morrison leads the team in INTs with 3, as both our top starting DBs, Jared O'Neal and Bryant Westbrook, were injured for a majority of the season. And then Ted Stuckley has a huge fall off in his 3rd season. An amazing, spectacular fall off. He was amazing last year and sucked this year, so that is unfortunate. Moving to the stat rankings, if there's some stuff you want to look at, we're kind of middle of the pack here in most stats. There's only a few where we were really bad. We were a bad team when it came to running the football. We generated the least amount of first downs in the NFL, which is also kind of important to look at here. We were really efficient in protecting the quarterback, 4th in the NFL with that. But in defense, I guess, is really where you can see some glaring things. So we have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. We gave up the most points. We did not get to the quarterback really at all. Pass rush was a problem, which I figured it would be. And then efficiency, we were really good at protecting the football, but not getting the football back. So we didn't really throw a lot of picks or fumble the ball a lot, but our defense was not very good at getting us a lot of opportunities with the football. So there you see, in fumbles recovered, interceptions, we're in the 20s. And overall takeaways were pretty far back. But Cedric Irvin, the running back for the Lions, ends up taking home MVP, which is just wild to me. That a running back for a team that didn't even make the playoffs is your MVP. Jamal Lewis is the AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Ray Lewis is your AFC Defensive Player of the Year. Also won it for the entire NFL. And then in the NFC, London Fletcher is going to win it for the Rams. Your Offensive Rookie of the Year is a running back, Casey Carter, for the Bears. Rookie running back for the Bears. He didn't even have that good of a season. I mean, these are bad years. Is your Offensive Rookie of the Year? Did we not have a rookie we could throw in there? I guess not, but that is bad, man. That's just really bad. Your Defensive Rookie of the Year, player for the Colts, and Mark Oliver here for the 49ers. Coach of the Year, of course, goes to Vermeil for the Chiefs for the great season they had, making it all the way to the AFC Championship, even though they lost. Good year for them as well, though. But the NFC wins the Pro Bowl, in case that matters to you, in case the Pro Bowl matters. I haven't really focused on the results of the Pro Bowl, because why would I? Why does it matter? But moving to the offseason now, the first thing we're going to do here with starting this rebuild is we're going to get into some trades. Because we have some guys that are making some money here. We already have a ton of cap room, considering all the guys that are eligible for contract extensions or new contracts, like Chuck Dunn, as you're seeing, with 0 years left on that contract. We're going to see if we can't free up a ton of other money here by getting rid of some of these free agents that the previous regime had signed. That we probably just don't have much of a need for. So Abraham, the right end that we signed last season, San Francisco is willing to give us the 24th pick in the draft for him. So I thought, absolutely, an 89 overall edge rusher, we will absolutely take a second first-round pick for. That is an absolute no-brainer. So we're going to make this move here. Now we're pretty empty on edge. Which is fine because now we have 2 first-round picks. So the next move that we are going to make here is we're going to try and get rid of Desmond Clark. I remember I told you at the beginning of the year the market really wasn't all that great for him. No one was really offering more than a third, and that's just what I'm going to take here because Miami's going to offer us the 19th pick in the 3rd round. And we're going to take that. So we're going to take an extra third here, and we already have an extra first. So we're already shedding off quite a bit of money here. This is going to get us about almost $10 million more than we started with. So we were at 51. We gained about 7. So Bryant Westbrook spent most of this year injured, and he's got 2 more years left on that deal. That's $8 million more we have to pay him. So we're going to send him over to the Jets because the Jets are going to give us the 21st pick in the draft to take him off of our hands. So that Westbrook deal already kind of aged pretty poorly because of the injury. I think he'd probably be effective. He's been effective in his time with us, but I don't think we need him on this team for a collective 4 or 5 more years, or total years. But in order to make the trade work, we have to give them one of our picks since I've maxed out the draft picks that we have. So I'm going to send them our 7th round pick since we're probably not going to get a valuable player at that position anyway. So we're going to load up on 1st round picks and get rid of a 7th round pick. We also have a 3rd round pick and a 2nd round pick from the Falcons from earlier in the season because of a different deal that was made. So at the beginning of the year. So we are loaded, man, we are top heavy on draft picks, that's for sure. So looking over progression a little bit, Chuck Dunn only grows up 1 point, kind of upsetting. Roland Rich grows 4 points, which is a little bit better than last year. Chevin Murphy, our fullback who hasn't really played yet, he grows 3 points. Kenny Thompson only goes up 1 point, unfortunately. That's kind of annoying, really annoying after the season he had. Otis Cameron, our rookie, went up 1 point to an 83, so he's already getting a little bit better here. Flozell Adams doesn't change. Larry Allen might be starting to regress here, minus a point. Jamie Evans goes up 3 points to an 86. Mo Collins, no real progression there. Fernando Williams, after his amazing rookie season, up 3 points. Keith McKenzie, the veteran that we signed to hold on the left side, is starting to regress here. Brett Davis, the only remaining right end on the team, goes up 2 points here. Marcus Johnson is up only 2 points as well, and Blaine Gibson also only up 1 point. Dat Nguyen doesn't really grow either. Dexter Coakley remains the same as well. That number 50 goes up 1 point. Jared O'Neal goes 1 point to 84. That's about it. Tony Dixon goes up 1 point to 69. Lionel Mays gets a pretty huge bump here at 77, so he might be a good option at strong safety throughout this rebuild. And Ted Stuckey gets a huge boom at 9 points after a terrible season. So I guess this just tells me the progression is completely random. I guess it just picks and chooses which players grow and which ones don't. At this point, that's all I know. But looking at retirements here, and Raggy Ishmael is calling it a career. I figured both Joey Galloway and Raggy Ishmael would retire after this season, but it looks like just Raggy Ishmael is going to retire. So after his 13 years in the NFL, he's going to be done here. He doesn't want it anymore. We killed that man's will to play. But there's a lot of huge retirements, man. If you're looking at this, Brad Johnson retires from the Buccaneers. Now the Buccaneers might be experiencing quite a bit of turnover. And Kwame Lassiter, the veteran free safety who we signed to kind of hold down the position for the next couple years, he gave us one and said, "No, I'm done, man. You're going to have to take me out of here, coach. I'm done. I want to go to Cancun forever, permanently." So we lose Kwame Lassiter and Charlie Gardner, another veteran that we signed to hold down a certain position. Gives us 1 year and he's done, man. After 12 seasons, Charlie Gardner says, "Yeah, being a Cowboy is not what I want to do. You guys crushed my spirits. I'm done." He had a pretty good year, too, so I'm kind of shocked that Charlie Gardner wanted to leave. So Quadri Ismail also retires. Trent Green retires as well. Bill Schroeder retires. The bus. Jerome Bettis retires. Corey Schlesinger, the age of the fullback, is dying. Tony Jones retires. James Stewart also retires for the Lions. The Lions was like their entire backfield, essentially. And there's a lot of guys. Curtis Conway retires from the Chargers. Cliff Gross, the age of the fullback, is dying. Craig Newsome. I love Craig Newsome in Madden 01. I love signing him. But the Lions lose a lot of guys, and the Chiefs also lose a ton of guys as well. So we might be experiencing some good teams kind of bottoming out next season, depending on how a lot of teams' off seasons go here. We might be struggling. Not the only one struggling. So heading to the re-sign phase, this is kind of important. We have a lot of depth guys who are looking for some money, and also some potential starters that are looking for some money. So Joey Galloway is still looking to play here. He might want to come back. Dat Nguyen. Remember, we fought to keep Dat Nguyen here for only a couple seasons. He didn't want to sign long term, so I'm not sure how optimistic to be about keeping Dat Nguyen around. I'm not sure if he's a player that we should keep through a rebuild. It might be better to let him go, stretch his wings, and see where he can thrive elsewhere in the NFL. But here's the list of guys that we need to re-sign. So we're going to get through, and I will show the guys that we're giving money to. So Adam Tyson, he's about the third or fourth receiver on the depth chart, a guy that we drafted. We're going to give him $1 million for 3 years. It's a cheap deal, and he's going to be a depth receiver for the foreseeable future. So good to keep him around. Joey Galloway wants $745 a year to play football. Get out of here. Get out. You're done. Dat Nguyen only at $310. That's not like a ton of money considering the cap space that we have, but again, I don't want to pay a ton of money. I'm trying to keep the salaries at 3 or less. So I want to pay guys $3 million or less going through this rebuild, except of course the quarterback position. But elsewhere on the team, I want to keep things cheap for at least the next season while we kind of figure things out. Maybe get one more good draft under our belt. Quincy Carter is still willing to come back here for 1.5, so we're going to bring him in for the next 3 years to continue to be our backup quarterback. Bruce Perry, also pretty cheap guy to keep around, another guy that we drafted. He's going to be the backup running back for the foreseeable future, so we're going to bring him on for another couple of seasons. Actually, he wants to be here for a while, this is going to be a trend. A lot of guys that need to be re-signed, a lot of them want long contracts, so at least 3 or more years. So we're going to give Bruce Perry 3 years to be backup running back, if that's what he so chooses. And then the offensive line is the only position where we're not going to spare any expense because we have a great O-line. It's the best part of this team. And if any of these guys, a lot of them are still young enough, except for Larry Allen. So if any of these guys want to stay with the Dolphins through a rebuild, I'm absolutely going to do it. And 285 for 3 years to Mo Collins, yeah, dude, absolutely we're going to do that. So Mo Collins is coming back. He's going to hold down his position on the line. And then Chuck Dunn, relatively cheap for a quarterback. So for a quarterback who's already up to an 82, 5.35, not terrible. I'm going to mess with the money here and give Chuck Dunn a few years. And the way I see this contract is if by the first or second year it's not looking like we're going to get any money from it or get the money out of it, then we'll just move on and we'll draft a new quarterback. But I think for a little over 5 for the next 3 seasons on Chuck Dunn, I think that's a pretty solid investment. I think he's going to only get better. I see that happening, so he's going to be our guy. Marcus Johnson is one of our better players on the team. He's the defensive tackle position is expensive, so I'm going to throw Marcus Johnson quite a bit of money since he's, again, one of the few rookies from the last regime that actually is starting to bear a little bit of fruit, so I'm going to give him his money here. Everyone else, I kind of look around here just to see what kind of money they want, but we're going to let everyone else go, including Izal Reese. You see his name. He's gone. He's out of here. So here's a look at the roster as we head into free agency in the draft. We're going to need another quarterback, so a couple of receivers, another tight end, another tackle, a couple DEs, another linebacker. We're going to need to replace Dat Nguyen, and then the DB, the cornerback position, is going to need some bolstering. So Jeremiah Trotter is the top free agent here. He's actually not looking for a ton of money. This would be a pretty great deal if we were trying to compete, but again, we're not really trying to compete the next season, so I don't want to throw a bunch of money on a top end free agent to lose, so I'm going to let him go. Curtis Martin, dude, I just had to highlight this. Curtis Martin wants over $11 million a year. And he's already an 11-year vet, so you're probably only paying like that for 2 years. But that is absurd. Almost $12 million a year to play football. Dude, there's no one even close to that. That's like Joey Galloway's number, man. There's a couple crazy ones as we scroll through here. But looking through the top dudes here, Luther Ellis is a nice little guy there. Holmes wants over $4 million on the edge. No, sir. But Chad King is the first guy we're going to look at here. He's a right outside linebacker. He was obviously drafted by some team that really just didn't want to keep him for some reason. But at 26 years old, already an 84 overall guy. His starting salary is 2.35, and I think we could definitely get in a bit of a bidding war there. Terry Glenn's another vet who I think we might want to bring on the team here at only 290. We're just going to offer him the 1-year deal, because he's already a 10-year vet, and we're just going to kind of, again, I plan to rebuild for this first season in this new regime. I don't plan to do a ton of winning, so as long as we have a solid option at receiver for Chuck Dunn to throw to, at least for this season, I think we'll be okay. So we're going to throw some money at him. The next day is going to sim through now, and we get Tony Glenn, so he signs on. I guess no one's really interested in Terry Glenn, so we're gonna give him the 1-year deal at 2.9. Kind of a lot of money for 1 year, but for that kind of receiver, I think we're okay with it. So Chad King, we're starting to get into a bit of a bidding war with him, but looking at the money here, so we're going to get over that $3 million mark here, but I'm okay with it. I think I'm all right with parting with a little bit of that money here. So we are going to get him for 3.10, so it's only a little bit over the $3 million mark that I was trying to avoid. I think there's only a couple guys on the team now making more than that. So we get those guys. We also get a backup quarterback, basically the third-string quarterback. We get another receiver here. We also get a backup left tackle. And then Dre Bly, we are also trying to get in on here. Dre Bly's kind of fallen a little bit here to a 78 overall from his Rams glory days. We do sign another tight end, a backup tight end, for some cheap money as well. We do sign a left end as well, and then Dre Bly, we are still in a bit of a bidding war here, and it looks like we might be able to get him at the $3 million mark, just at that $3 million mark. So he's going to be kind of the rebuild. We did get a new free safety as well, just to throw that in. We will see all these guys in the depth chart, so in case you're curious, we will get to know them all in a second. And then we do get Dre Bly for $3 million for 3 years. It's a $9 million deal. That's quick math. And yeah, he's a 78 overall, so he's probably going to hold on to the other side with Jared O'Neal here. We just needed someone on the other side. Roger Green's going to be free safety. We got a new receiver here. It's a pretty solid class. A lot of these guys are depth. A lot of them are just going to be backup guys, but some of them in positions that we're struggling. These guys might be a little bit more important. Like Ham might get some playing time at receiving. Green, I think, might be our starting free safety as well. It's possible. And then here's the season that Terry Glenn's coming off of. It's a pretty good season. You'd think someone would probably want him. Chad King also coming off a pretty great season with 92 tackles and 6 sacks. Yeah, dude, I'm happy to have that production here. Dre Bly has a pretty good season too, 71 tackles. I mean, we'll take that, you know what I mean? Roger Green didn't really see the field much with his previous team here. Travis Ham, the receiver, over 400 yards, not terrible. Only one touchdown though, not great. But he still saw the field a little bit. Looked to be about a third or fourth option on his team. Jeremiah Millen didn't really see the field an awful lot. Mike Williams has yet to touch the field in his time in the NFL. Marshall Parker also has yet to touch the field in his time in the NFL. So the trend, if you haven't noticed already, I tried to go for other rookies that teams are letting go. I'm basically taking rookies that teams are pretty much giving up on because a lot of these guys, are pretty solid. So. But here is our draft class now moving ahead. Our top rookie here from Arizona is Chad Richardson. We grabbed him as a receiver at 76. Timmy Mills, potential replacement here on the offensive line from Washington State. We drafted him. Because I was thinking he's going to be a future option here on the offensive line. Justin Nipper might be a potential starter at free safety from Alabama, so we might have already completely replaced the free safety position on this team. Gary Kelly, I was definitely thinking replacement for Larry Allen with that pick from NC State here. Brandon Riggs here, fullback from Colorado. He's actually a higher overall than the fullbacks we have on the roster, so I grabbed him because now we have a better fullback. Rock Terry, another receiver, just kind of a depth guy I drafted. Another rookie from Arizona. So we got Arizona's top two receivers, I guess, in the class. We got both of them. Bruce Green is going to be probably going to start for us a middle linebacker from Penn State since we don't have anyone else at that position really to stop there. So at a 69, he'll probably start. Irv Cock is going to be the third running back on the depth chart from Florida State. That's essentially why I drafted him. So I'm already trying to fill out the roster essentially with a lot of these guys that I picked. And then Trevor Quick was just again bolstered the depth here that we have at DB from Syracuse. He's going to be that's where he's going to play. So that's the class as it stands. So we're going to sign these guys, and we do manage to get them all signed up. So our rookie draft class is all completely signed. So that's what we did with all of our picks. We got a ton of guys in the mid-70s, which I think is a pretty good thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's that bad. We upgraded a couple positions, and we added a lot of good depth at some other positions where we maybe didn't need it. So I think the team is in a little bit better of a spot here. So looking over the depth chart, Chuck Dunn obviously going to be the starter here at an 82 overall with Quincy Carter behind him and D. Edwards, the guy that we signed at free agency. Roland Rich is going to return as the starter in his third season. Irv Cock, we're going to move out for Bruce Perry, who's going to be the second running back. And then Irv Cock, the rookie we just drafted, is going to be third. At fullback, moving along ahead now. So the rookie we just drafted, Brandon Riggs, is going to start, and then we're going to put Chevin Murphy at second string, and then Jason Lawton is going to be the third guy. So we're going to move him from a starter for the last 2 years and move him to the third spot. So we have upgraded at fullback. Kenny Thompson, we're probably going to move here. I liked Kenny Thompson in the receiver 2 position, and Terry Glenn's going to be receiver 1. So Kenny Thompson, we're going to hope produces again in the receiver 2 position. K. Richardson's going to be the third guy on the depth chart. Terry's going to be 4th, and then Ham, the free agent that we signed, is going to be 5th. Adam Tyson, who we re-signed, is going to be the 6th receiver on the depth chart, and then Rock Terry, I think, is the other receiver that we drafted from Arizona. He's going to be 4th. Otis Cameron's going to start at tight end this year, and then Mike Williams, the guy we signed, is going to be his backup. Timmy Mills, we're going to move out here, put him at the starter for some reason. So Flozell Adams is going to start at left tackle, and then Timmy Mills is going to be his backup. And then we also had a free agent that we signed who's just going to be third. We might get rid of him, who knows. At left guard, we have Larry Allen, who's going to start, and then Gary Kelly's going to sit behind him. Potential replacement, who knows? Jamie Evans is going to start at center, and Jose Brandt's going to be behind him. Mo Collins is going to hold down right guard, and Chris Allsworth is going to be behind him. Fernando Williams is still going to be the starting right tackle, even though, looking at the depth chart, if we move some guys around here, Timmy Mills, the guy that we just drafted, would be better at the position. So that might be a switch we might have to make. I liked what Fernando Williams did with his rookie season, but Timmy Mills, as it stands, is the better player. So I don't know. Jeremiah Millen's going to be the left end, or going to be the starting left end. Brett Davis at 63 overall is going to be the right end. It's kind of a mess. Marcus Johnson is going to be our DT along with Blaine Green. They're going to be our defensive tackles. Number 50 is going to start on the right side, but we are going to move around the linebacking position a bit here because things are a little bit rough. So Bruce Green, the rookie, is going to start at the middle linebacking position, and then Chad King is going to start on the right side, but then that leaves Dexter Coakley as the odd man out. So we're going to move around the receiving corps here because number 50 probably shouldn't start because Dexter Coakley is still an 80 even on the left side. So we're going to put Dexter Coakley on the left side this season and start Chad King on the right side. So that's how the linebacking corps is going to rock. We got worse at middle linebacker. It's objective. We got worse at middle linebacker. So You can put that on me. Jared O'Neal's going to be DB1, and then Dre Bly is going to be his help on the other side. Lennox Morrison's going to be the third guy, and then Trevor Quick, the guy we just drafted, is going to be fourth. So only 4 DBs on the roster. Justin Nipper, the guy we just drafted, is actually going to start at free safety. So we signed that guy Green, Roger Green, at a free agency. But Justin Nipper is actually better than he is. So we're going to start Justin Nipper, and then Tony Dixon's kind of the odd man out. So one of those guys might have to move. Lionel Mays is going to be the starting strong safety, but we're going to put Tony Dixon behind him just to have a backup strong safety, to say that we have one, just in case, you know what I mean. And then Ted Stuckey is obviously going to kick for us again, and Casey Gordon is going to punt for us again. But that is how the roster is going to stack up. So now that leads us into our new season, folks, year number 6. So here's a look at the roster. We start on the road in Arrowhead against the Chiefs here. Then we have our home opener with the Rams. We'll probably watch both those games back to back. We head to Carolina again just a few weeks after finishing our season there. And then we head home to play the Broncos again and the Seahawks, which we might watch that game again. Then we head out to San Francisco. We're headed to the Bay, actually, to play the Niners and the Raiders back to back before heading home to welcome the Bears and the Giants. We take to the road again to play the Cardinals in Tempe before coming home to play the Eagles and Skins back to back. Then we have a nice little road trip here to New York and Philly to play the Giants and Eagles before coming home to play the Chargers. And then we finish the season on the road in D.C. to play the Skins. So a lot of our divisional games are in the second half of the year. So a lot of conference games and out-of-conference games are at the beginning half. So we're going to highlight this game here against the Chiefs to start our year number 6. The roster's worse. It is worse objectively. Like I said, we're going to try and rebuild in this first season. I'm hoping for another 4 or 5 win season. Hopefully we keep our jobs if we do that, but because the game is kind of weird. But hopefully we get a nice, good draft pick, and then for year number 7, we should be ready to fully go all in and just start winning. Hopefully start winning. So hope to see you guys when we play the Chiefs in the next video.